at this point, I mean, he's millions of dollars, white dude, and he know how to fight. So he probably feel like he can say whatever the fuck he feel. You know what I'm saying? So if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But we need to be careful in supporting him.
Is there a point where you're not racist anymore? If you were once racist?
I think just like we talked about this before, just it may be the people you around may bring that shit out. Or that shit may be installed in you as a kid, bro. But I feel like that shit, I don't think that shit necessarily go away. Like you may not feel hate. Like you may not be like, oh, I hate these people, but you can still be racist, bro. I don't like these people because they black, or I don't like their cultures because they black, or whatever the case is.
So do you think those feelings get compartmentalized and put into a place, and it's just there, just lingering?
Probably.
And it can just be brought up at any moment.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, these comments about, or these old videos of Joe Rogan resurfaced, and it was weird. Like a friend of mine had sent it to me, and for me, I would never have thought that something like this would surface. He doesn't appear to be racist. He doesn't.
Because he be knowing what the fuck he say. Like Joe Rogan is one of those people that if he say it, he thought about it type shit. Like he ain't the person that just really talk out the side of his fucking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, he seemed like he seems educated, right? He
he experienced enough things. He talked to enough people. He know what the fuck going on. So if he say it, he probably stand on. It sounds like he a person that stand on what he say.
Yeah, and yeah, like and especially like with a podcast, like it's a constant stream of consciousness, right? So it's not much. Well, I don't know how much editing goes into his podcast and his conversation, but for the most part, it's a peek into someone's like thought process, and you know, especially when it's like in real time. Like the video's not live, but in real time, like, having a conversation, you see you start to see like, you know, little pieces of their what they believe, you know, how their mind works and stuff like that. So we take a perfect example, like with Kanye, when he went on Joe Rogan, like I had like a completely different opinion on Kanye after the fact, just because I got a chance to see him like have a conversation, like a lengthy stream of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? So you get to you get to see what's going on in their head. But so yeah, like, so to go back, like I've watched a lot of his episodes, and he seemed like someone that just like is in search of information, right? Is like just trying to learn. Like when he speaks to people, or at least when I look at it, it doesn't seem like, a lot of times you'll have interviewers that like they have the question ready or the response ready before they even understand what you're saying. Like they're just ready to just like get those sound bites, ready to just like, you know, overwhelm you with like questions and shit like that. And when I listen to shit, it sounds like he's genuinely trying to get information. If he doesn't understand, like you guys talk it out and figure it out, and you know, come to an answer. So now,
it don't even matter if he right or wrong. It's purely about getting the right information, which is the best way to be about shit.
Yeah, which is so. And then all this is coming up because of like this whole COVID misinformation thing, right? So yeah, now all of this stuff is coming up. So I think it's weird that it's like a war on, I guess, information. I guess like trying to silence one side versus the other side kind of thing, because like you have misinformation everywhere, right? especially for people that don't know how to go out and search information properly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where are we drawing the lines at? You get what I'm saying? As far as like, you can't say this, you can say this. You get what I'm saying?
So a motherfucker can say and feel however they want. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter to me if he's racist or if he's fundamentally racist, if he's behind the scenes. It don't matter to me. It only matters if you're putting money into whatever they're doing, right? If you have a problem with it, us as the people need to not support it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we can't talk
Yes.
about, man, I don't fuck with what he said, but then you go and watch his shit. Like, then you're a weirdo. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's his platform. That's the type of shit that he want to push. You know what I'm saying? If no matter if how much you like him, like, you can't. You know what I'm saying? So it's our job to set those standards. And
Oh,
you know what
okay.
I'm saying?
So here's another question. So with that being said, let's say he has somebody up there talking about, let's say, cups. I don't know, like
Yeah,
cup making. I'm just saying
yeah,
that because I have a cup right here.
for
But
sure.
you don't agree with a lot of the things that he say, but you genuinely want to hear this professional about cup making talk. You want to hear, uh, is it okay to then listen, or should you just overall say, you know what, I'll take it a stance and not listening at all? Solely solely based on the quote unquote misinformation he spread on another topic, quote unquote.
I feel you. So we gotta take the emotion out of it first. You know what I'm saying? Is it more did it go, is his racism any deeper than those actual words that he said? Now, with him being white, that's fucked up, because, like, so it's not racist until you got all the institutions behind you that make it racism, right? Because the words really, I don't know if anybody really cares what he said, because I'm sure that wasn't the first time that type of shit was said. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it just was bad coming from him. Is that mostly the issue? Because, like,
I feel like I feel like when all of this other stuff happened, like, I don't like, there wasn't really any uproar, but the onus is on us to create that uproar, right? Like, if he's saying racist things, or if he has those views, it's on us to boycott it and say, yo, we just not gonna listen to this nigga. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder how much of his actual supporters are black. Like, how
So
much
that's
is
another thing too. Like, yeah, we'll have to look at his demographic and stuff like that. All right, so let me show you this video real quick.
Why I decided to ask my music be pulled off of Spotify. So check this out.
No white people. It says, okay, take me to this one. And the guy goes, okay. I goes, is that in a good neighborhood? He's like, oh, yeah. Guy barely speaks English. He takes us there. We get out, and we're giggling. Oh, we're going to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes. We walked into Africa, dude. We walked in the door, and there was no white people.
I empathize with the people who are leaving for the COVID disinformation reasons, and I think that they should. I also think that Joe Rogan has the right to say what he wants to say. I also think that I have the right to say what I want to say. So as an artist who builds, Spotify is built on the back of the music streaming. So they take this money that's built from streaming and they pay this guy $100 million, but they pay us 0.003% of a penny. Just take me off. I don't want to generate money that pays this. Just take me off. That's where I'm at. And I know that I'm actually, to be honest with you, surprised that my statements were picked up, because I thought people weren't really going to listen to me, because that's what I'm used to from the industry. But I'm glad that I am being heard, and for that reason, I want to clarify my statements. Again, this is why. Watch this.
Like, the nigger thing. Yes. Saying the word nigger.
You've already said nigger.
D is just like nigger. Saying nigger.
She's calling you a nigger. It's like this
Boy, that he's a nigger, but starts calling them niggers. Word nigger. There should be a word like nigger, especially like the word nigger. That's our nigger. About niggers. He says nigger. Guy, a nigger. And then our niggers start saying nigger. Allowed to use the word nigger. Out the word nigger. See nigger. Word nigger. Say nigger, and he couldn't say nigger. And most nigger.
So we know how social media can be. Things can be doctored. People are taken out of context. It's happened to me many times. However, I want to be clear, in no uncertain terms, where I stand on this is that he shouldn't even be uttering the word. Don't even say it under any context. Don't say it. That's where I stand. It's my right to stand there.
How you feel about first the Planet of the Apes comment?
Where included in that comment, he was like, we was giggling on the way there, talking about we about to go see Planet of the Apes. So if you already, you know what I'm saying? Like that set a different tone versus just saying like, yo, I walked into the like y'all giggling about it, and then it actually happened, and you still, you know what I'm saying?
I think that premise is already crazy. To just refer to black people as apes, that alone is crazy. And then you take it a step further, joking, Planet of the Apes. You know what I'm saying? And then it's a bunch. You're joking with your white friends about this.
Yo,
you get what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta ask like where are these thoughts, comments, this processing coming from, right? Like you're not just saying this for no reason.
And I feel like if you're saying it, I mean, what is he thinking? Like if you that comfortable, or if you just comfortable publicly saying it. And actually, this is interesting because I've also heard stuff specifically from him about speaking your mind, like speaking what you feel, and knowing martial arts increases the ability to speak, or knowing how to defend yourself increases your ability to speak up. And like, you know what I'm saying? I was watching something like that. So at this point, I mean, he's millions of dollars white dude, and he know how to fight. So he probably feel like he can say whatever the fuck he feel. You know what I'm saying? So if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But we need to be careful in supporting him. Definitely need to be careful in supporting him, pushing anything. And that's why, and then that just goes into the previous question that I asked is, I don't know how many black people, like, we don't really talk about him. No, but he's not really a part of our culture.
I feel like the comments about race shows a more deep-rooted problem than talking about COVID, which is like a new problem, and we're like digging through this information and trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong. Making comments like he made seems like it's more deep-rooted, and it seems like it requires more investigation to see like, yo, to me, like it says it all, but like, you know, like what's there? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so I mean, so two questions. What do we do about it? But before you answer that, I think you already answered this, but are you surprised? Generally, like, are you surprised that happened?
So normally I would never be surprised, right? Something like this happened, right? You kind of like hope it's not, but expect it to be, kind of. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like I've never really seen glimpses. Like sometimes you would say like, yo, if it like you would see like some type of glimpse or something like that, that yo, this dude may think like that, or like he just doesn't understand, or he doesn't get it for him to even make a comment like this. You get what I'm saying? Like I haven't really seen glimpses of that.
One more question. If somebody black was on the show, would he have made those type of comments still? Like if he was talking to somebody black? Or was that something that you...
For sure he wouldn't. Or as someone that deals with media, like, you know, and what he does, he'll probably find a way to like finesse it like casually into, you know what I'm saying, as a conversation, and then kind of like gauge what he can and what he can't say, what's okay. You get what I'm saying? So I've seen at work, like you see like people like slowly push the line to see what they can say, see what they can't say. And then once you shut it down, then all right, they know that this is the boundary that they can't cross. You know what I'm saying? But like, come on, how many fucking white people you've been around they get drunk and ask you if they can say the word nigga.
Yeah.
That has literally happened. Like, yo, you mind if I say nigga? Like, come on, son. Like, that's weird, son. What is the infatuation with all that? What is the, you know what I'm saying?
So from their perspective, I think that because that's a part of their history where their ancestors were allowed to do that, and the fact that they can't, it's like they itch to do it. They'd be like, man, like, because growing up in history books, they just hear all this fucked up shit that they was allowed to do that they can't do. So it's like, I think it become fantasized to them. Like, man, they want to do it still. Like, if they could, they would type shit, but they can't.
That's
So it's like, I feel like, of course, and nobody white has ever said that to me, but I feel like that got a lot to do with it.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Because so America primes all our minds. Like, you know what I'm saying? We all get the same information. It's just like, what side of it are you on?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or at least most, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, damn. They're like, damn, they try to make it seem like we didn't came a long way. And it's just like the institution just grew and you just can't really see it, but it's still there.
Yeah,
and
so I hate that argument saying that we've come a long way, but we're saying like based on whose metrics, you get what I'm saying?
Right. Like, what the fuck? And then in any situation is better than being a slave. No fucking shit. Like, yeah, you can't compare that shit to whatever, you know what I'm saying? That's a different story. But I feel like that got a lot to do with the infatuation. It's like, man, we used to be able to do this shit. We can't do it no more, man. I want to do that shit so fucking bad. Just type shit. Like, I feel like they dream about that. Which is just corny. You know what I'm saying? Like, them niggas whack, bro.
Yeah. That shit is weird. And all right, let's check this out. Let's see what they got for us.
Hello, friends. I'm making this video to talk about the most regretful and shameful thing that I've ever had to talk about publicly. There's a video that's out that's a compilation of me saying the N-word. It's a video that's made of clips taken out of context of 12 years of conversations on my podcast, and it's all smushed together, and it looks fucking horrible, even to me. Now, I know that to most people, there's no context where a white person is ever allowed to say that word, never mind publicly on a podcast. And I agree with that now. I haven't said it in years, but for a long time, when I would
I haven't said it in years.
If it would come up in conversation, instead of saying the N-word, I would just say the word. I thought as long as it was in context, people would understand what I was doing. Like, that context was part of the clip we were talking about Red Fox, how Red Fox said that word on television in the 1970s, and how times have changed so much since then. Or about how Richard Pryor used it as one of the titles of one of his albums. Or I was quoting a Lenny Bruce bit, or I was quoting a Paul Mooney bit, or I was talking about how Quentin Tarantino used it repeatedly in Pulp Fiction, or I was talking about how a Netflix executive, ironically, used it because he was trying to compare it to another offensive word, and he said it out loud, and they fired him. Not calling anybody, or just saying the word out loud. I was also talking about how there's not another word like it in the entire English language, because it's a word where only one group of people is allowed to use it, and they can use it in so many different ways. Like, if a white person says that word, it's racist and toxic, but a black person can use it, and it could be a punchline, it could be a term of endearment, it could be lyrics to a rap song, it could be a positive affirmation. It's a very unusual word, but it's not my word to use. I'm well aware of that now, but for years I used it in that manner. I never used it to be racist, because I'm not racist, but whenever you're in a situation where you have to say, I'm not racist, you fucked up. And I clearly have fucked up. And that's my intention to express myself in this video. To say, there's nothing I can do to take that back. I wish I could. Obviously, that's not possible. I do hope that, if anything, that this can be a teachable moment. Because I never thought it would ever be taken out of context and put in a video like that. And now that it is, holy shit, it looks bad. And it's part of also me doing this podcast for thousands of hours, thousands of episodes, over 12 years. I said a lot of fucking stupid shit, which is fine when you're talking about most things, but not when you're talking about race. And there's another clip that I have to address. There's a clip from 11 years ago. I was telling a story on the podcast about how me and my friend Tommy and his girlfriend, we got really high. We were in Philadelphia and we went to go see Planet of the Apes. And we didn't know where we were going. We just got dropped off by a cab and we got dropped off in this all black neighborhood. And I was trying to make the story entertaining. And I said, we got out and it was like we were in Africa. It's like we were in Planet of the Apes. I did not, nor would I ever say that black people are apes, but it sure fucking sounded like that. And I immediately afterwards said, that's a racist thing to say. Planet of the Apes wasn't even in Africa. I was just saying there's a lot of black people there. But then I went on to talk about what a positive experience it was and how much fun it was to go to see this movie in a black neighborhood. It wasn't a racist story, but it sounded terrible. And
that shit still sound racist.
You can have clunky stories about anything, but not about race. And so I deleted that whole podcast, but obviously somebody made a clip out of it and taken out of context. It looks terrible, but it looks terrible even in context. It's a fucking idiotic thing to say. And I was just trying to be entertaining. I certainly wasn't trying to be racist. And I certainly would never want to offend someone.
He's tap dancing.
Yeah, I mean,
he's tap dancing for sure. Because you're going to see. All right, let's talk about this Planet of the Apes shit, right? You're going to see Planet of the Apes. I wasn't talking about black people, but it felt like we were in Africa. And like, why say Africa? What's the relation there? Because one, to say Africa, now you're saying a whole continent, right? And there's many different facets of Africa, right? You have cities, you have like Africa is not one huge jungle. You know what I'm saying? Especially someone that's well traveled, that has been around. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Africa is not one huge jungle. So to make that reference, like you didn't say, yo, it's like we're in Europe and it's Planet of the Apes. You know what I'm saying? Like, or we're in Asia and it's Planet of the Apes. Like you specifically said Africa. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I felt like he was tap dancing around that. What you thought?
Yeah, I mean, it just don't matter. Like that apology, it just don't matter. You said what you felt.
Do you think at this point it's about saving his brand and just trying to?
I don't know if it affects his brand, bro. I don't think it matters. I think we just need to decide if we're gonna continue to support him or not, and I think that's up to the individual. Is he the worst person in the world for his comments? No. This is definitely a strike, though, right? This is like he's on the watch list for sure, and how much further? You know what I'm saying? Like he's on the watch list. He made himself a little hot for sure. Like so, me personally, I was never like just completely into Joe Rogan. Like, so him saying these comments don't affect me at all. And most comments don't, but like, I don't have to make like an ultimatum, like, damn, am I going to continue watching this man podcast? And I don't have to make that type of decision. So, his words don't mean much to me, but he's on the watch list.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like let me hear a couple more things. Like, I don't know if I follow his page, but then I'll start unfollowing shit and completely not supporting him. But at this point, he's just on the watch list for potential. Do you think that is that enough? Is it one striking you out for you? Are you completely done with him? Because you say you watch his shit often.
Yeah, I watch his stuff. I'm not sure. I will probably I feel like how I feel now. I feel like I'd be less inclined to watch just off of like the fact of the matter. You get what I'm saying? Like just like morally, you feel like I'm not gonna. As, when I look at his interviews, I'm not gonna look at it the same. I'm not gonna look at it as just like just a regular dude having a conversation and just trying to figure out some information. It's gonna skew the way that my opinion of him. You get what I'm saying?
Is it permanent, or is it like just in the short term?
It's going to be permanent. I'm not going to be able to unsee.
Question. So of course, apology don't mean nothing, right? Because now you have to kind of does he have to overcompensate to get your like, say if he did something real good, he went to that same neighborhood that he said was Africa, and he put some money into that neighborhood. Would that be a legit? Is that the only thing that he could do to really make it better, or is it any coming back from that? Assuming
it's not gonna.
Because we don't even know what type of neighborhood he went to. Like, did he go? Was he in the hood? Was he in the upper class black neighborhood? Like, what type of neighborhood was you in to make that comment? Also, like
that, and then also like, what do you mean it was a great experience going to a movie theater in a black neighborhood? Like, what does that mean? You get what I'm saying? Because like, it's not like you went to the hood, you chilling with people, you talk with. Like, you went to a movie theater, and then I'm assuming you hopped in the car and got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So
like, what the fuck was it? Was it the zoo? Like, what the fuck did you feel like he was at the zoo? Like,
and why do you feel the need to say? Why do you feel the need to say that? Yo, you know what? We was just joke, but you know, it was one of the best experiences I had at a movie theater. Like,
because the thing is, black people would never say that type of shit. Like that, black people normally don't think like that type of shit unless they've been affected by racism, then or like some other type of shit. But I think actually black people don't be like, yeah, I was in a white neighborhood and it was a great experience. Like nobody, I don't.
Because when I hear it was a great experience, this is how I internalize it. It's like you going into someone's area and they aren't acting the way that you expected them to act, and now you're saying,
like, oh, was it that bad?
Yeah, like what are you saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's actually a positive experience.
Because I thought that, like, and then he says, I haven't used the word in years. Like, I've used it for years, but I haven't used it in years. That's crazy. Like, it's so ignorant to say, I didn't know I couldn't use the word because I used it in context, and it's unfair. It's an unusual word. That's the word he used to describe it, because these people could say it, but they can't say it. And I'm like, yo, you know the deal already. You know, like this is not new. You didn't stumble across a word of another language and then said, oh, now I understand the use of the word or how it should be used or not be used. You get what I'm saying?